Google's looking to shut several of the search APIs in February, so I want to share this with everyone. Basically, Google is to close the Google Patent Search API, Google News Search API, and Google Blog Search API, inclusive to the Google Video Search API, Google Image Search APIs, all on basically February 15th. Google announced that they are closing several of their APIs basically this new year. They are closing it to include the Google Patent Search APIs, and basically they did indicate this way back in 2011, and that they will be basically deprecating those APIs, and now in the last 3 years later, they're taking them offline. So it's taken a little while, but it's beneficial. They're fully taking it offline. And basically the alternative Google gives is the Google Custom Search API, which basically they're saying it's, I mean, other people are basically saying it's not much of an alternative for the APIs listed above, but it's happening, and it's going to happen on February 15th. So I just quickly want to share that. And Armando, did you want to add to that at all, or?
Yeah, based on some of the feedback that I kind of received, this is due to the fact that I don't think there was a lot of usage on these APIs, number one, and as number two, things have developed themselves as well. So if you do have any specific questions about any of these APIs, do let us know, and definitely we'll keep you posted. But it shouldn't, there isn't any real impact on the way your clients should be able to conduct business, right? I mean, it's not. These are just as any. If anything, it's more of house cleaning from Google's side, right? So thank you, Amali, for that.
Thank you.
Okay. The other thing that I wanted to share with you in somewhat relevance to Google, and you know what? Please do pardon me. I know that today we have about 4 or 5 slides on Google. We're not just proposing Google here. It's just that Google came up with a couple number of things in the last week, so we wanted to keep you updated. Like I said, the core algorithm being the most important one, but this is another one that I thought was very important to share with you, which is in regards to Google News. And according to a very reputable a survey conducted by Edelman Trust Firm. Basically, you can find this at edelman.com. Every year they create what they call the yearly Edelman Trust Barometer. And according to their new, and this survey, in reality, what it does, it just measures primarily the trust that U.S. You can say U.S. consumers have on media and news, etc. Right? So according to this survey, 60% of people that were surveyed, and I can tell you that it was a pretty, I think it was around between 1,000 to 2,000 people that were actually surveyed in this one specifically. I didn't get a chance to capture the real number, but according to this survey, 60% of people that were taken into consideration or participated in this survey actually trust Google, right, for news more than they trust the news outlets contained in Google's index. Okay, now very interesting. Okay, this is very interesting and very important as well. Well, it's not super important, but there is some importance to this. This marks the second year in a row that search engines, in this case Google, come out on top as the most trusted form of media, ahead of traditional media and several times ahead of social media, right? And one of the, I guess, the key reasons why is because if a headline is featured in Google News, that means more people are likely to trust it over reading that same headline from its original source. So if, let's say, a news article, a news piece, a newsworthy piece is picked, it's, let's say, created by ABC Company, and it's posted on ABC Company's website, or let's say it's posted on a local newspaper, right? But this is picked up by Google News, and Google News publishes it. So now we have three sources. We have the original website, we have the local newspaper, right? And now we have Google News. People will gravitate towards reading Google News first, ahead of its original source, right? And this is the second year in a row that this happens. This survey pretty much confirms that people are trusting Google for news more than the actual news sources, right? So one of the reasons that the author talks about is that when considering the disparity between trust in search engines versus trust in social media, you can also point to how headlines are written. The most shareable headlines are not always the ones that contain the most information. Okay, so that's one of the reasons they believe that obviously search engines possess more information, they're more complete, etc. And the other thing is that the headline in Google News will typically give you the facts you're looking for in as few words as possible. So that means that information is provided to you as soon as possible and very quickly. And the headline of a popular story on article on social media tends to be written for people to click through to get the full story. So there are reasons why Google pretty much gives you those on Google News gives you those brief excerpts of information, and obviously people are trusting more Google News, right? So I'm just gonna kind of, if you give me a quick second, gonna pull out something here very quickly, and um, uh, wasn't able to do it. But typically, what ends up happening is that if it's something that is newsworthy, worthy, people will typically use definitely Google News and will have more trust on that source, source of information rather than its original source. So one of the things that many ICs have asked us sometimes is, okay, so how do I get my clients on Google News? So I've added a link here at the bottom, searchenginejournal.com, how to be included in Google News, where it shares some information in regards to how to effectively post, be able to get some your clients news items on Google. Please do know that these have to be very newsworthy, and there's actually a process that needs to be followed. So let me just share this with you. Um, Here we go. I'm sharing it with everybody. But there is a process that Google follows. It's not that simple. It has to be reputable news. So I'm sharing that link with everybody. Some of this stuff is really updated. A couple of things probably are outdated, such as you got to have a Google authorship ranking, etc. That's not required anymore. But it does give you a general information on how to get your news posted on Google News. So again, keep an eye if you do have if one of your clients is coming up with a very, very revolutionary product or service or something very newsworthy. Don't just consider your traditional media outlets or let's say your standard online outlets like PR Web, PR.com, etc., PR Log. Also consider other ways of trying to get your clients' information on Google News. Okay, but interesting nevertheless to take into consideration that people are trusting Google for news more than even they said traditional news media or traditional media. So very interesting. Um, Amalia, I believe you have an update for us in regards to some of the changes on Bing ads.
I most certainly do, yes. So basically, Bing as updates their keyword planner with the impression of sharing comparisons and more. Basically, they call it version 2 of the keyword planning tool, which is now available in the US Bing Ads accounts. An update to Bing Ads keyword planner is out, boasting 4 new features: more competitive insights and benchmarking, customizable ad groups, and keyword bids. Basically, a new source for the keyword suggestions and time range customization to up to 24 months for keyword search volume. So you can now add your landing page URL into the tool, and the keyword planner will basically generate keywords based on the page content. Another helpful update is that the tool can now look back as far as 24 months versus 12 months, and to provide a better view of the seasonal trends and keywords that are particularly hot during certain times of the year. There are a couple of new competitor impression share sites insights as well. With the compare to competitor domain insights, you can basically see your account's relative ad impression shares for the keywords suggested in the planner, and it'll compare your impression share to other competitor domains. This will also help you to find opportunities to add high volume keywords where your impression share is comparatively low. You'll also be able to analyze average monthly search volume competitive benchmarks, high, medium, low, basically suggested bids and your ad impression share. Um, Also, the compared to market leader domains view shows you a side-by-side comparison of your average and impression share against the average share of the top 5 market leaders for a set of keyword suggestions. In addition, you can now also change the bids at the ad group and the keyword levels to see how the traffic estimates change based on a higher or lower level max CPC. If you want to adjust all of your bids, by the same percentage, you can actually do this just by a click on the percentage right in the weekly estimate graphs, which I think is pretty good. The updates of the keyword planner are now live in the US. Once you sign in, you'll find basically a keyword planner under the tools tab in your account. So I thought that was really interesting. Armando, did you want to add to that as well? Or?
Yeah, no, I think that this is very important
Yeah.
as Bing continues to grow, specifically in North America. I know
Mm-hmm.
that they're definitely spending a lot of time, effort, and resources and money into making sure that their interfaces, specifically with the Bing Ads interface, is up to date and comparatively very competitive with Google's AdWords interface. I think that one of the things here is just the company's initiative to be able to give marketers the tools for them and I guess not only just entice them, but to make it easy for them to advertise. So for sure, Bing ads will be something that in the next year we will be showcasing a lot because we definitely see that in 2016 there'll be a bit of a growth spurt. I mean, the company itself is continuing to grow in regards to market search share. So this is an opportunity. We've been talking about it that when you're thinking of paid search potentially for a client, don't just think of Google AdWords opportunities. Don't just think of Google PLAs or just Google remarketing. Also think about the other options, and Bing would be one of those options that should be secondary. As a matter of fact, in some cases it may be your primary way of doing some pilot testing for products and services for a new client, or if you want to reach a specific demographic, right? If your client is really focusing on it and wants to get some feedback from a specific demographic, that's important. So for sure, we will keep you posted on that, and do let us know if you have any questions, and we'll have our team address it. But yep, thank you very very much for that, Amalia. The other thing that kind of just happened probably a day or two ago is that you can now install Android apps directly from Google search results, which is very interesting. So some Android users can install Android apps from within the mobile search results, bypassing a step to the Google Play Store, right? So if you I think it's very useful for. I mean, I'm one of those users that really go to the Google Play Store. But what ends up happening is, according to Artem Rusakovsky, some Android users are now able to install Android apps directly from the mobile Google search result. So basically, this is a screenshot of a specific Android downloadable, and as you can see, it's called CF Lumen Android. So basically, what ends up happening is when you are looking for some of these apps, Android apps, it will give you a screenshot. This is his first screenshot where it kind of gives you the results, and it will ask you if you want to install. Right, right on that. There's a green button that typically it's not there. It's actually on your mobile. Right, and for the if you're doing this naturally or normally, you actually, if you want to download an app, you have to go specifically to the Google Play Store. But in this case, it's part of the search results, the ability to install right away. And you can see the screenshot back again here where it's actually installing, right? So what happened was that the user in this case clicked, saw the install opportunity of the app, clicked on it. It gave them this other screenshot, so it kind of gave them another lower screen prompting, and then they could actually install. When they clicked on that, it became and it starts installing. So very very easy now to do. As a matter of fact, I actually saw this news item in 3 different sources, so it is something that Google is rolling out. So if you have clients that again have some native apps, very important to make sure that you look into this to allow users to for ease of downloading, right? if they're Android apps. The other thing is, again, keeping in mind that in 2016, if your clients do have apps, try to make sure that there is some SEO friendliness to them. Right. So again, have a strategy. The rules and guidelines for complete SEO or complete search engine optimization for apps is not out there yet. It's something that's still being developed by SEO experts, and even from our perspective, this is an area that we continue to investigate. However, there are some guidelines that we've shared in the past in this webinar in regards to native app optimization. So anyhow, just wanted to share this piece of news with you as well, because I think it's very important. It's easy user friendliness, but at the same time, it'll be interesting to find out how many people in the next few months are actually downloading apps from search results, right? Search result pages or search result opportunities, page opportunities, versus doing it through the Google Play Store, specifically if you're doing it on your mobile, right? So very, very, very interesting and important update as well. And I think you want to share something also in regards to Google, Amalia. Google, some of the Google tests that are happening.
Yes, I do actually. Basically, what they're saying is basically Google tests what's hot and what's nearby as Android search options. Basically, the test may be responding to growth of nearby and near mobile queries. Basically, there was a representative who sort of looked into this and found it very interesting that Google search options were doing a test basically on Android on this. And in addition to the recent searches, Google inserted a what's hot and a nearby option in the pull-down menu. Basically, we provided you a little image there for you guys to sort of see what it looks like. And basically, Google did come back with the following statement that they're saying that they're constantly experimenting with the new look and the feel of their products, but they haven't officially announced anything. Given that Google does numerous tests, it's not clear this will get a broad rollout. In testing this functionality, Google is likely responding to the growth of nearby or near me queries. So they're testing this all out, I guess, seeing what people are really drawn to. And basically last May, the company said that such searches have doubled in the past year. Roughly 80% of those searches came from smartphones. So that's pretty interesting. So I'm pretty sure they're probably going to have a rollout eventually. Armando?
Yeah, I think at this stage they're not saying, how to
Yeah.
get, what are the rules or what are the requirements to get your site on the what's hot list. I would imagine the nearby has to do with geo targeting location. But we will keep you posted from our perspective as we learn more about this opportunity, because the good thing about it is, if your client has a specific product or service, you want to get them on the what's hot. If they have a specific product, let's say they're a company, a retail-based company, they have a hot product or just a location, a store, a brick and mortar store, you want to have them on the nearby, etc. So I would imagine, and again, we will confirm that the nearby has to do with the near me queries, which again is tied to Google, My Google Business, right? And if you have optimized that, most likely the likelihood of you being found on these search results is very high. What's hot is something new, so definitely we'll keep you posted as we kind of learn a little bit more about what are some of those requirements. There may be something that your client is working in 2016 that may be worthy of trying to get them to optimize. But then again, it is a test still from Google, as Amalia has shared with us. It's something that they haven't confirmed a complete rollout, but something that good, it'd be good to keep an eye on, and we'll keep you posted. So thank you, Amalia, for that. Okay, excellent. One of the things that I wanted to share with you today is a recent survey that was actually completed with by IDC, a reputable marketing research company, and Yellow Pages, right? And they actually completed this survey called Local Search Unleashing Opportunities for National Advertisers. Now, please do note, primarily this is for the US. I know that we have some international ICs. However, I would take the information from, let's say, a 100,000 foot view to see some general trends and behaviors, right? Obviously, the US market being a hot test bed in consumer behavior, definitely will share some insights. Okay, I also like this specific report from a sales perspective or educational perspective. If you are doing any presentations in the next few weeks or months, you can actually use some of these stats and some of these stats that were shared by this study. And I wasn't too happy with the number of adults that were surveyed. I mean, there were only 750 from 18 to 44. I would have liked to have at least over 1,000. That's just my personal opinion because you have a bigger sample base, right? But according to this study, 80% say they own smartphones, and obviously matching overall U.S. smartphone penetration of just under 80%. I know that in other countries outside of North America, you know, that number is much higher. As a matter of fact, I know that in countries in Latin America and also in Southeast Asia, you know, you have individuals that have up to 3 smartphones or more than one. I don't know how that ends up happening, but you know, they have more than one smartphone. However, please again take this information as a from as a sample, let's say, uh, understanding behavioral patterns, right? And according to this survey, under 40% start a local search with a search engine. Okay, very interesting. If you look at this specific infographic or just graph here, they start, 36%. This is what the article is referring to. They did a search on a general search engine first. So this is primarily where they continue uh, to um, uh, uh, to uh, um, to do the search. I'm getting a couple of questions, so we'll get to those questions in a minute. So just bear with me. But yes, this actually did happen on a search box. So if you go to Google, you have the search box. That's where they actually initiated, right? So the search did not initiate on an app. Basically, they open up, whether it be Google Chrome, or they open up a browser, went into the specific search engine. I would imagine this will probably most likely be a majority of it will be Google. It doesn't say, but they did a search on a general search engine. So they actually typed the search on the search box, right? Number two, they visited specific sites on the subject. So in this example, 50% of the individuals, if they were looking for example, traveling, uh, uh, cooking, or fine dining, for example, they would go to sites such as TripAdvisor, Restaurant.com, etc. Very top level specific sites. The next one, which was very interesting, I'm still trying to understand how this one happened, is 7% of them read customer reviews. So again, the importance of customer reviews is still there. So I would imagine that they were probably looking for specific reviews online on specific products. Then you looked at others where they use coupons or deal apps or site. So this is like a Flip, sites like or apps like Flip, I guess, where you can actually just get coupons or promotions, etc. Then 5% review content about product or service. I would imagine that this is a little bit more in tune into the website. It doesn't really give us a real explanation of this, but they actually definitely review the actual content about the product or the service right on the site. So this is some of the things. And you know what? Search from a mapping app, 4%. Read professional reviews, 4%. Use a reservation booking app, 3%. Okay, so very interesting data. I think that the most important is the fact that they're still using search engines even though they're on the mobile phone, and they've visited specific sites and read customer reviews. So that was one of the pieces of data that they shared. Let me share the next slide. Um, Also, research found that general search engines, as I mentioned, were the largest single starting point for local search users. However, as a graphic below, 36% of the survey population, half of searchers, 48%, said that when they were seeking information on a familiar topic, they would start a vertical or content-specific advisors, a TripAdvisor for hotels. So sorry, that was on the slide above. Now, this specific image here tells us a little bit about the different actions, the whole path to conversion, if you will, to get to the information. So first action, as I said, search on a general search engine, 33%. Then the second action, so if they didn't get the information they wanted or they wanted more information, they went on to a local directory. That was the second step. So they further nailed down that. Then they went to a third action, which is read customer reviews, and four, they then used the maps. Okay, so that was one tier that went that route, right? So you can definitely see that individuals will, number one, rely on a search engine, or if they don't get what they want, they will move on to a local directory, right? A look to get that information, right? To dig deep, and that has happened to me, by the way. Recently, I was looking for what was I looking for? I think it was during the Christmas holidays. I was looking for a specific. Um, oh yeah, I was looking for a specific product. It was some gym equipment that I wanted to acquire. So obviously I did a search on the search engine. Then I nailed it down to a local directory here in my area in Milton, Ontario, to find out some of the local sports stores. Even though I had gotten some of the top retail boxes for my first action, but in my second action I went to a local directory. Then you know what? Interestingly enough, this is I went and read some of the customer reviews, not only on the product itself, but also on the specific experience that users had or visitors had to the retail store, right? And subsequently, I used the maps. So this is very interesting about the patterns that happen with standard consumers, right? So very, very interesting. In some cases, for example, the top third action may not be reading the customer reviews. They may just jump to using the maps, right? So they may say, okay, you know what? First action, I search on the search engine. Second, I'll look in the local directory, and then go to use maps. So you can definitely see that some of these are the actions that people take when they are doing some searches. So what does that tell us as marketers? Obviously, number one, SEO is important. Interestingly enough, coupons, if your client has a specific product or a retail store, take that into consideration. How can you have a strategy in these coupon sites that are out there, or coupon apps, right? That is something for you to research. Obviously, local directors, local citations, the importance of that comes out with off-page optimization from an SEO perspective. Customer reviews, again, continue to be important. Not just for search engine optimization, but this is more user experience and that whole local research path, right? And path to conversion potentially, right? Obviously, having maps is very important. Being found on maps is very important. So again, my Google Business optimization, making sure that your client has not only validated with my Google Business, but also with Bing and Yahoo, right? Not underestimating the other two search engines. Make sure that they confirm that. Now we do that with our SEO programs, but sometimes some clients tell us, yeah, you know what, I have been doing some SEO, and when we get to really under the hood, they've only done search engine optimization towards Google. So there's other opportunities, right, that exist. Okay, again, customer review is very important. So very interesting. The other thing here that I wanted to share with you, which was very interesting, is that in regards to the time frame, and I think I have another slide I have another infographic on the next slide. 39% of individuals actually did 3+ search activities, right? So they did one action, two actions, and three actions, right? That's I guess a pretty big chunk. Number three. So typically, searchers will not only look at search engines, but will look at two additional sources to gather the information, right, that they're looking for, right, to complete that local research path. So to research information, and this is again for specifically for casual dining, right? This is the example that they give us, but it's pretty very trending. 83% complete the search in less than an hour, right? So um, again, it goes to the fact that we live in a fast world. People want information right away. They're not willing to spend a lot of time on decision making or finding what they want to do in less than an hour. They want to find out that as soon as possible. They're not going to be looking at 2 to 3 days to find what they're looking for. They'll probably take them an hour and take action. right? So if I was looking in this case, I was looking for some gym equipment, within the hour, I probably did complete all my research that I needed to do before I made a decision on which store I wanted to go. And that is very true. Okay. Now the fact that I purchased it, that's totally different. But I do remember taking about less than an hour to visit to make sure that I was going to go visit two places that I had chosen locally. The other one is 44% of these searches are mobile, are on the go. Okay, so you know what? As I am doing my grocery shopping, I want to now find out where do I go next, where do I have to go. You know, uh, so there's a lot of more movement on the go in regards to mobile searches, and obviously 65% use smartphones. So very interesting information here to take into consideration. I mean, I'm gonna. This is online. If you want, we have a copy of the report. But if you don't want to download the report and give your email, just send us an email. Send an email perhaps to Amalia or Michelle, and I do have a copy of the report, and we can actually give it to you. I actually took the time to download it. I couldn't I share with you everything that they have there because there's a lot of information, but definitely would recommend you have a look at it. They do have some nice infographics that you can share in your presentations when educating your clients, whether you're doing a one-to-one presentation or at the local BNI or doing a networking event. This is very educational also. Now, this one specifically talks about device usage among local searches. So if you, again, focusing on local searches, and as you can see, there is a correlation between using multiple devices. Okay, so you may say, whoa, these numbers don't make sense. If I'm doing 86% at home, how come I have 90% of tablet users and laptop users and desktop users? Well, basically what this is telling you is that people definitely use multiple devices at home to do local searches, right? This is not for example, at home, they don't prefer, they're not saying which one's their preference. They're just saying, you know what, I may do some of my search in my smartphone or in my laptop or on my desktop, right? But I did find that smartphone searches were a bit lower than, for example, laptop, right? I guess just the fact of the matter that it's probably faster, or you feel more if your laptop is open, versus your phone, you may find it more user friendly to use your laptop or a tablet, right? If you're just sitting in the couch, just going through things, you may just easily just switch on to your tablet, right? At work and at school, again, very important. This is very important. 47% are using smartphones. 26 and 29 are using desktop and laptop. I would say that desktop users are probably mostly those organizations that are still using desktops, right? So these are more public institutions, government agencies that rely a lot on desktop during the day, and they're doing a lot of research. Obviously, also students that are at universities and colleges may be using still desktops, but if a company is a bit more progressive, the employees are probably doing more research on their laptop. But it's interesting to find out that obviously there's still a good percentage of people using a desktop. Right. As a matter of fact, we have a few clients. One of the clients that we're working with here in Toronto, Canada, they're called Mayhew. I have actually showcased them in a number of webinars as a case study. And one of the things that we found was that because we found that most of the leads and most of their traffic, it's very different than the standard, because the standard was before, up to 30-40% of traffic is coming from mobiles. In their case, it was very low. It was about 17%. And the reason was because their target audience are government agencies and decision makers who are at the office, and these people typically use desktops, right? So we had to definitely make sure that whatever content that we were driving or posting on the site was also very desktop friendly, right? So that may happen from time to time, but overall numbers share that 47% of them are still using, increasingly smartphone users, right? And specifically, millennials, right? This number, I would imagine, is a lot of millennials that are not just, I'm not talking about 21-year-olds, 22-year-olds. I will also be talking about 29, 30-year-olds, individuals who are now big influencers, right? Who are now part of the decision-making process for an organization, right? Young executives, like we can call them, right? Then shopping, right? If I'm shopping, okay, what is it that I use the most? Obviously, mobile, right? And on the go, again, mobile, right? Because they're, you got to go to places, makes it very, very easy. So some great stats for you to find out if your client still does not have a mobile friendly website. Hey, we got to get on with the program. It's 2016, right? They have to definitely look at mobile if they want to, because as you can see, and I'm preaching to the choir here, but mobile is a very important in all of the different search locations at the local searches, right? So definitely, again, a nice screenshot to share with a prospect that still only has a desktop only website, right? I believe I have one more. This was just a summary of the actual survey. And here are some takeaways, top level takeaways. 49% of consumers looking locally for national products and services conducted 4 or more search activities, and nearly 1 in 4 did 6 or more. So this goes back to the first slide that I showed, and I'm going to go quickly here. Here, sorry. As you can see, just looking at casual dining search, which is just one specific vertical, if you will, they did 4 actions. So that's how they mapped it with 4 actions. So based on this stat, generally, if you're looking for national products and services, so not just dining, but anything, people will conduct 4 or more search activities, right? And nearly 1 in 4 did 6 or more. So this is where you kind of go a little bit more in depth, right? 36% of searches use 2 or more devices. This is what I was sharing with you, that people will use more than one device, multiple devices. 35% of searches search from 2 or more locations. Very interesting, right? And nearly 2/3. This is actually, sorry, let me go back to this one. 35% of searches search from 2 or more locations. So they could have done this at home or at the office. They could have done this on the go. They could have done this from maybe even multiple cities. If, for example, they work outside of the main city in the suburbs and they go to work, they could be searching for the same product. Let's say if I want to buy my wife flowers for Valentine's Day, I may be looking for either a florist here in my local area or downtown, where I can just pick up the flowers or have them delivered to my wife's work, right? I mean, these are some examples. I don't know if I'll actually do that. I probably will, but just some examples. Or if you want to, that's one of the examples that come to mind. Or if you need any type of product delivery, right? Nearly 2/3, 63% of local searches were completed in under an hour. I kind of talked to you a little bit about it. You can see here, 63% under the hour, 22% more than 1 hour, but less than 1 day, right? So, and then as you see the time, the longer that the longer the time it took them to review, the less the percentages, right? More than 3 days, so 7%. So more and more, you can see that people are making their decisions faster, right? I mean, less than an hour. That's pretty fast. This means that you have to be able to provide your consumers with information at their fingertips, because they're going to be making a decision right away. Now, this is again not the decision to buy, but to take action, right? So in this case, you know what? Which store am I going to go to? Where am I going to get my information, right? Where am I going to go and buy this? They actually want to make that search in less than an hour. I would imagine that, and this is something I cannot confirm, only the study can, is if, let's say the 7% is if I'm looking for a car, right? I may take more time if I'm going to buy a new car, a larger purchase, for example. I may take more time, more than 3 days, to make my decision of which dealers I may go to. I don't know, or maybe 22%. However, you can see that the majority of people make their decisions very, very fast. So I wanted to share this a study with you. I do have this. I do have. Um, I do have in this report with myself, but if you want to go download yourself, here is the URL, national.ypm.com/YPSMvid. So if you give me a second, I'm just going to pause the screen and share that with everyone. Just give me a quick second here. But a very interesting report. I would have hoped, I would have wanted to spend a little more time in it, but it does come up with a lot more information than what I just provided. I just kind of took away the bigger picture. So I am sharing that with everybody, and hopefully you find it very useful, specific for your next presentations. So I'm going to give the mic to Michelle, who's going to be sharing with us a little bit about the ALM promo of the month. And I know that we kind of released that last week, but I wanted to share this with everybody, specifically for clients that may be a little bit tight on budget. This may be a great idea.
Thank you, Armando. Good morning, everyone. So I'm happy to announce that ALM, we do have a promotion for January and most likely pushing it into February as well. So as an alternative to our custom design websites, we do have this more feasible option, if you will, which is a templated theme design website. And the cost is $699 US. And I just wanted to go through some of the details with you, let you know a few of the benefits and some of the features that are also included. So the way that it works essentially is the client will purchase a templated theme, and we will give them a few options to choose from based on their answers to the website design questionnaire. So essentially, they'll choose the theme that they like. What that does is that does also shorten the length of time it's going to take to implement this website. So because now we're eliminating, if you will, the design phase, this website could be ready in less than 20 days. So just to give you a few quick features, it will be on a WordPress CMS. The website comes with 5 website pages, and the client does have the option to purchase more pages if necessary. We can go through those details with you as well. There will be no major layout changes, unfortunately, because it is a theme design. However, they are able to make a few changes such as to the logo, the menu structure, they could change the color and images, and of course the content. So I think what we really want to point out here where these benefits are with respect to this templated design is that it does already come fully responsive. There is a blog included, so there's no need to purchase a separate blog module. It also comes with a Contact Us form, Google Analytics integration, and of course the website will be SEO friendly. So no need to purchase the extra plugin for that as well. So just a few benefits. Armando, did you want to add a little bit to that? I'm not sure if I
Uh,
missed anything.
no, I think this is great. I mean, one of the reasons we wanted to do this, I know for many months ICs have asked us about working with that template themes. So we kind of had the dev team really do a lot of research because sometimes, you know what, themes can be problematic. Themes can be static or but at the end of the day we decided to really focus on themes that will provide a site to a client that, you know what, they're not looking for a lot of features. They just want some a presence online, and primarily as Michelle had mentioned, to be fully responsive and to have a blog. So these are pretty much the foundations. You know, if you look at the details, we wanted to make it with an SEO friendliness in mind, right? Custom websites can be a little bit more pricey because obviously there's an aspect of design, there's an aspect of converting that design into responsiveness. You know, there's additional efforts towards that. Specifically from our experience, we do it towards the end of the project. So again, this is not for all of your clients. I would definitely recommend these for clients that, you know what, they do want to get, you know, they do want to have a new website, they do want to do some online marketing, but when they see the price of the website they get discouraged. Well, you know what, now you can spend less money on your website and more money towards your marketing, right, towards your SEO, right, or paid search. So there are some customizations available, and to tell you, we'll make it very simple for you, the IC. As a matter of fact, the way it works is that once we get your requirement, we get your web design questionnaire. Our team that comes back to you and says, you know what, based on the web design questionnaire, here are 3 templates. So we actually would recommend templates already, right, to you, and then you take it to your client. Your client then says, you know what, I like template number 1. So we already do a lot of that groundwork. You don't have to do that groundwork of trying to identify which template you have to purchase for your client, or they have to purchase, etc. And we already have in certain background and, let's say, sources where we're going to buy these friendly templates that we researched already. And the other key thing is that the templates are not that expensive. They're going to be most likely an additional 75, tops $125. So now you're looking at a site of $699 plus another $125. So let's say $825 USD, a fully responsive 5-page website, very professional. So, definitely something with a blog, SEO friendly. So have a take a look at that. I think that you should consider. Now, one of the key things that I wanted to mention out is if you are interested in this and you don't really know how to position this to your client, or probably you do know but want more information, we have a supporting document that we can provide to you that can give you some of the benefits that you can share with your client. So that way, when you're pitching this to your prospect or a client, you definitely have some information to provide them as well on the benefits. So this is why we wanted to make it easy, because we did find out that many clients sometimes, they don't even really care about the design. They mostly what they care about is, I just want to have a website with my information, have my logo. It's beautiful. I don't really care about custom design. I just want it out there because I want to start promoting my business. So this is a way of doing this, very, very fast. And yeah, as Michelle mentioned, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to the team. So thank you very much for that. I know we're kind of almost on time. I don't have any other questions except the ones that I had in the beginning, but I wanted to thank you for joining us. Definitely we'll have our new guest speaker next week for you, Chris Ballin, in regards to SEO. So look forward to that as well. Have yourself a great week, and stay warm. Take care. Bye-bye.